do something. So to be honest with you guys, I'm waiting for Dr. Sherry Moore. Here's the situation. I'm going to tell you guys the situation, so you know what's going on. So I am at this moment. I'm supposed to be recording a podcast with Dr. Sherry Moore, and I am so looking forward to doing that. But as I was preparing to do this, what happened to my eyelashes? Anyway, I just noticed I don't see them as much as I see as the other one. But anyway, as I was getting ready, I realized that I got suddenly really badly ill, and I threw up all over my bathroom, like bad. I might take a picture and put it in here, but I don't think anyone wants to be sick, you know? Gross. So I had told her that I wasn't sure if we could do it, if we could move it out an hour or half an hour. And she told me to go to the ER. But I know why it happened, so I'm not rushing. I don't feel sick that way. It was like one of those out of the blue instantaneous throw up and like projectile vomit all over my bathroom. Like it was awful. And I'm still like in shock that it happened like that. So just in case, I've got this here, these little bags. This is green, so it's not showing up. I don't know if you can see it. But I've got the little that they give you in the hospital. I've got one right next to me. So if that happens, at least, because I was trying to get to the toilet, like when it happened, and it just went all over it was horrible. I don't even want to talk about it. Anyway, Dr. Sherry Moore might think I sent her a picture and said the show must go on, but you know, some people, if you don't start exactly at the moment, that's it for them. Like it throws them off. Like I don't ever start exactly at the moment. If you're gonna do anything with me, just know I may be exactly on time, I may not, but I mean, at least I try to stay, you know, I let you know. But I guess she's probably just trying to be kind. Now, the thing is, the show really must go on. Like I have a certain amount of hours every week, the tape, and I really have to put something in this slot, even if she's not in it. And so I was just sitting around making a bunch of dance and B-rolls. That was what I was just doing. Just dancing around so I can use those for B-rolls later. That's what I'm doing. Like, every moment has to be utilized. I can't not utilize the moments. Now, this is so sad because what if I am really, really, really ill? Okay, I'll be honest with you guys. I'm halfway concerned at the moment that I have appendicitis. I know that's serious. Maybe I should go to ER, but I have a doctor appointment tomorrow and I'm trying to make it to the doctor appointment. And so it's at 9 in the morning and I'm thinking, okay, I can make it through this day, but I have had some pains on my right side. Now the right side contains things like the gallbladder and the appendix. I'm worried. Of course, I am on Ozempic still, which I'm not sure what we're going to do with that now, but I I took a shot, not the last shot, because I took that on the left side and that was fine, but not last week, so the week before, I took a shot of Ozempic and it hit a certain spot near when I took the shot, and that side has been hurting ever since. So I'm worried. And my daughter is like, oh, Ozempic's got that thing about the stomach problems, and so I'm worried. I'm worried. I'm worried. Uh, it looked like I threw up everything I ate over the last week. So, you know, at the last few days, because that's the thing about Ozempic too, is that part of the problem is the food. I'm trying to cover up because you can see stuff here. Um, Part of the problem is that the food sits in your stomach for a while, and that's not good if you're got any kind of projectile vomiting. Now, I think it's because I got in these products, and I don't want to name them, but one was apple cider vinegar gummies, and the other was probiotic gummies. And they affected me immediately, but they're not the reason I'm sick. I'm just thinking that's why it brought up whatever needed to come up. That's what it is. I think it's trying to heal me. So I was able to get dressed and put on my makeup and stuff and make it out here. Now I can't lie. I I feel kind of, my tummy doesn't feel great. It doesn't. But I got my bag. I'm ready. I don't know if you're ready. If it should happen while I'm recording. Let's hope that does not happen. Oh my gosh. But I just so that it's not going to take me by surprise like it did in the bathroom. I was actually getting ready, and yeah, I was not prepared. So, maybe when I told her, about that, it probably was like, well, she's not gonna. But at this point, I'm like, I'm sick every day, pretty much. It could be anything because I don't know what it is that's going to keep me from being exactly on time. It's always something. It's just part of my nature. So I'm fighting that. We all have our mindset and our subconscious things that happen, and you're like, why did that happen? Why does that always happen? Or whatever it might be. And it could be something like I have with timing. Like I've got a issue with timing. I mean, I've lost jobs over timing. So it's not like it's a new thing. It's part of my issue. It's my thing, right? I don't know why. Every time I touch this, it gets fuzzier, and I'm trying to unfuzz it. I don't know if you see it, but every touch makes it fuzzier. And I'm like, why? What has happened? What is going on? This day, oh, look, I'm this is not necessarily an astrology podcast. This, when I do it, we could talk about anything, but this moment, with everything I'm doing and the way it's feeling, I I just want to check and see where the planets are right now, like what's going on. Um, let's see where these planets are. I just want to see what's going on, just and then I won't obsess over it or anything, but I do feel kind of like, I could tell I'm not at my best right now, but, you know. Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay, so I know what's going on with me. I know why I projectile vomited all over, like about a half an hour, like a half an hour ago. Why? Because the moon is exactly square my sun. My sun is at 14 degrees and 27 minutes. The moon right now is at 14 degrees and 50 minutes. So like 23 minutes ago, it was exactly square my sun. That's exactly when I projectile vomited. I'm just saying, pretty much around that time. So it makes sense. I had a direct square to my sun. And it's the things that I did that I shouldn't have done that got me in trouble, which yesterday, the only thing I ate all day was an apple pie that I made. I made it from scratch, gluten free. I was very proud of it. It was really super good. I put cranberries in it. It was delicious. And I made it from scratch. It was deep dish. It was amazing. So it was the only thing I ate all day, and I ate on it all day. So like from breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks. By the time I was done, like midnight, I had finished off that It was just a little bit of pie left. But it was delicious, and it was worth eating those 6 apples that I put in that pie. So that's what I ate yesterday, basically 6 apples, 1 egg, a half a cup of flour. Like I know exactly what I put in there, right? But it was square, my sun, and I reacted in the way that it was square, my sun. The other thing is that Jupiter is at 29 degrees of Gemini, which is in conjunct my Venus at 29 degrees of Scorpio. But it more so is that it's in my sixth house. Yeah. And Mercury's in my sixth house. So here I am talking about my health, right? So all that sixth house emphasis is going on. Luckily, the sun's still in my fifth house. So, I mean, I wanted to get cute and come out and say something. And luckily it did. And especially with the sun trine this Libra moon, the sun in Gemini at 15 degrees is trying the Libra moon at 14 degrees and 50 minutes. They're almost exactly trying. So it's beautiful. It's beautiful that I was able to come out and look cute and still come and do something in spite of the moon squaring my sun, which is saying go to the hospital or take care of yourself. In my case, it's the ninth house, so it was maybe about me coming out and doing something publicly, but here I am. Venus is at 29 degrees also. I'm seeing that Venus at 29 degrees of Aries is sextile Jupiter at 29 degrees of Gemini. And it's so weird that we've got 29 degrees happening, in certain areas here. Uranus is at 28 degrees and 22 minutes of Taurus. So that's almost in Gemini, but not quite there yet. It's going to get there in July, I believe it is. Saturn's at 0 degrees of Aries, and Neptune's at 1 degree of Aries. And these are both sextile Pluto, that's at 3 degrees of Aquarius. Now, the funny thing about 3 degrees Aquarius is that that's exactly on my Mercury in Aquarius in my first house. So here I am talking about myself again. So I don't feel that, like, I do feel a little bit of whooshiness, like, I can't explain it. Like, I don't feel great. Oh, I just realized Mars is on my Mars too. Mars is at 23 degrees and 38 minutes of Leo, and my Mars is at 24 degrees and 6 minutes of Leo. So Mars is on my Mars. My Mars is in the 7th house, which is what made me come out here and still make this video in spite of having projectile vomiting just a half an hour ago. Anyway, I just wanted to go over where the planets are really quickly just to see what was going on with me. And it does explain a lot, right? It tells me a lot. Like, okay, so you're dealing with a sun square. Sun squares are not good. I'm all kind of uneasiness going on in my belly. But I've been feeling kind of weird anyway. I started yesterday, but I just feel like, I don't know. I can't explain it. I feel like I could probably projectile vomit again. But we're going to avoid that if we can. So we're going to actually talk about something in a more positive thing. I mean, we're going to do something more positive. Yesterday I was I was looking up about this new or this full moon that's coming up. We got the strawberry moon that's coming up. And the strawberry moon is a really powerful time for reflection, for growth, for embracing new adventures. It is a time to go for your highest potential. I mean, look, Sagittarius is a very positive, uplifting sign. I mean, Sagittarius, in my opinion, is one of the most positive, uplifting signs there is. They stay positive. They're the cheerleaders of the Zodiac. Literally, Sagittariuses are usually cheerleaders. I mean, they are the cheerleaders of the Zodiac. They stay positive and uplifting, and they cheer people on. When the full moon is in Sagittarius, it is about things that deal with truth, okay? Because one of the things about Sagittarius is they like to believe that they own the truth. And some of them, right, actually do. And this is because Sagittarius rules the house that rules truth and things like honesty and decency and equality, almost, equity, words that are now banned, justice, freedom. It is a house of, like, a judicial house. It's a house of law, of politics. It is, Sagittarius also rules the philosophy. The way you think about things, the way you see the world is also your theology. So if you're into like religion, you're into like Buddha, you're into like meditation, all of your spiritual beliefs is the ninth house, all of them. Okay. That's like our dogma, our belief system. It's the God house. So everything Sagittarius, all of those things, including education, all of the higher education, like going to college and the universities and traveling. A lot of times, traveling to your new college or university is always, they seem to be interconnected. So it's like a rite of passage that people go through, especially those that go to college. That traveling, going to this new education, getting this higher philosophy. Sometimes it's religious. It's the religious experience, because some people don't take a educational experience, they take a religious experience, and it's the same thing. You go through, these different eye-opening moments when you're becoming spiritually awakened. And I feel like a lot of people may find that they are spiritually awakened, or they're having a spiritual awakening, or you're exploring things like spiritual awakenings. You might feel like you want the truth. You're tired of the lies. Um, Sagittarius, you might see more people speaking out about the government over the next few weeks. You might see more people speaking out about the president over the next few weeks. You might see people speaking out about truth, right, wrong, fairness, justice, equality, equity, all of those things over the next few weeks, because people are going to express this. Sagittarius is not a quiet sign. Sagittarius is very over exuberant, and it will let you know. Okay, so we will know. I don't know how many people have been paying attention, and I'm really trying not to, but everyone keeps telling me about what's going on with, the president. They've been calling him Taco, and Alon. Somehow, those two who were Pinky and the Brain are now arguing with each other. And, it's never good when Pinky and Brain argue. And I feel like right now that's what we're going through. So we're going to be seeing some of that happening, because that little bickering thing is going on. Now, I want to say this, that Gemini, which the Taco, the president is opposite of Sagittarius. So I could see Taco, 47, having issues over the next couple of weeks. Maybe with Elon, I don't know. But some truth might come out. There might be some issues. I've been trying to stay everything away from Taco or tacos, because of all of this. So over the next couple of weeks, all of this is going to happen, because it's a full moon, okay? It's happening at 23 of Sagittarius, so it's happening. Jupiter's influence, well, Jupiter, like I said, is Sagittarius' ruling planet. So everything ninth house, everything Jupiter is going to affect what's going on. And the funny thing is that Jupiter, as of the ninth, is going to be in Cancer. So when this full moon happens, Jupiter will be in Cancer, instead of Gemini, which, thank gosh, Jupiter is finally out of Gemini. If you have listened to me at all over the last year, I have bemoaned the fact that Jupiter was in Gemini. It does not belong in Gemini. It was horrific in Gemini. Some of the worst decisions ever made were made when Jupiter was floating around in Gemini. And now we've got a year of Jupiter being in Cancer that has to, I guess, remind people to have emotions. Remind people that empathy, sympathy, nurturing, caring, helping are okay things. Because somehow, when Jupiter was in Gemini, people began to think that being decent, kind, caring, giving people was somehow a detriment. Only the thoughtful, over-thoughtful, overthinking Gemini Jupiter would even come to that conclusion. This is a world that only exists because of empathy and sympathy and caring and understanding and nurturing and helping. Entire villages exist even to this day because of those things. I don't see how we were going to grow as long as Jupiter was in Gemini. And we didn't grow. There was no growth at all. Admit it. Admit it. Zero growth when Jupiter was in Gemini. Zero. In fact, many people had the opposite of growth, which means they had to go back and start over, especially with Saturn now in Aries. It's the restart. We literally, and Neptune too, in Aries. Total restart. So a lot of people feel like they are restarting from scratch, especially if you're an American. From scratch. You might have lost your 401k. You might have lost all of your stocks. You might be on something like Social Security and you thought you put $500,000 away over the last 30, 40 years, and now you're not even sure you're going to get any of it back. So there's a lot going on. But Jupiter's movement into Cancer is going to change that. Now, I'm talking on June 5th. So even as I'm talking, you might feel the Jupiter in Gemini exuding from my speech. Because Jupiter in Gemini is about communication and speech. Jupiter in Cancer is going to be about your emotions. How are you feeling? Are you okay? Is everything doing okay? How can I help? How can I be of service? What can I do to make you feel better? Is there anything I can do to make you feel better? Those are the questions that we need to ask. You know, those are the questions that we will be asking versus how much money can I get? How much money can I save? Who's doing this? Like, let's attack this one. It's a whole different mindset. And we're going to feel that when Jupiter moves into Cancer starting on June 9th. Now, Mercury is also moving into Cancer. I don't think, let me see, is it in Cancer? No, right now, today is June 5th. It's still at 23 degrees and 28 minutes of Gemini. But as of this, over the next 2 weeks of this full moon, of this influence of Sagittarius, Mercury is going to be moving into the sign of Cancer. And when it does, it's going to change things again, because the thinking now, not just the motivation, not just the luck, but even the thinking noun is in a much more caring, nurturing, emotional, understanding place. It's not about, does that make perfect sense? Give me facts. It's going to be, how does that feel? Does that feel right? Is this touching my soul? Does that make sense from an emotional standpoint? So intuitive communication, it is going to be much more, people are going to be feeling their way through things. The problem when it comes to feelings, though, and I'm not just saying this because I'm a double Capricorn, I'm saying it because it's true. The problem with going by feelings is that feelings can be wrong. And feelings can get you into misunderstandings because feelings can be wrong. You might feel a certain way, someone might feel a completely different way. Like someone might take offense that I called 47 taco. I'm just repeating what I'm hearing. I'm not even into it. But it's just the understanding that some people get so emotional over certain things. And because we're talking about Mercury, that means we're talking about communication. And because we're talking about Cancer, that means we're talking about emotions. So we're going to be dealing with a couple of things. One, more emotional communication, more people getting emotional while they're communicating, more people getting emotional about the communication they're hearing, and just more communication that's just emotional in general, all over the place. People just emoting all over the place, telling their own stories about what is affecting their lives. Now, Mercury in Cancer is about intuition as well. I always think of the High Priestess in the tarot deck. But believe me, if your emotions are off kilter, if you're emotionally off kilter, right? Then all of it's off. It's even your communication. So you want to check and make sure that you're in an emotionally good place, that you're not letting your emotions rule you, and that you're not just speaking, letting your emotions um, take over your communication. Because then we're just going around cursing everybody out. Everyone's a, whatever. Everyone's a bee or you want to be careful. I just have a feeling a lot of misunderstandings are going to happen because people are going to be speaking from the emotional place instead of a place that everyone can relate to. Sometimes when we're in our emotions, the only place or person who can relate to that is ourselves because we're in that emotion. So please be aware of that. The other thing is that Venus is going to be squaring Pluto. Mhm. June 9th. That's the same day Jupiter goes into uh, Cancer. The thing about Venus and Pluto, or Venus square Pluto, well, Venus, we're talking about love, Pluto, we're talking about power. This is like a power tripping in your relationships, or there might be a power trip in, or something like that. Like it intensifies the relationship, and um, it might be intense relations, intense love, or intense romance, but it can be some underlying issues that could lead to transformation, but could also lead to like power plays, power trips. Like you might get into an argument where you're just butting heads with somebody. I mean, it might be an important relationship. So because it's Venus, I want you to be careful, especially if it's someone you love. Like, let's say I know that sometimes me and my daughter will get into these philosophical, arguments. And my daughter's a Virgo, so I'm gonna be really careful about her, Miss Virgo, getting into these with me or something like that. But sometimes we'll get into this conversation with someone we love. We say something, it might be something that, starts an argument or something like that, but we don't really mean it. It's just that moment we get all hot and bothered under the collar over some issue that really doesn't mean anything. So I really want you to be careful of that because that could happen on June 9th, especially as is leading up to this full moon in Sagittarius that wants to be right about everything, okay? And that's the other thing. Please remember this. Like this full moon in Sagittarius, the one thing it is known for is it wants to be right about everything. And nobody is ever right about everything. So if you find that you're in like this kind of push-pull with anyone about true facts, right, wrong, all of those issues, stop. It's the full moon in Sagittarius. It's really, stop, pull back from the conversation and just take a good look because you don't want to lose a good friendship or a relationship or communication with someone you love because you got caught up in this full moon in Sagittarius energy or the Venus square Pluto energy. Also, Mars is square Uranus. That's June 15th, so that's 4 days after the full moon. But Mars square Uranus, that's sudden potential for disruptions. Things are not going to be or might not go exactly the way you thought they were going to go. You have to stay adaptable. Things could change on a dime and it could throw you for a loop. Be careful on the 15th of June. because anything is possible. And whenever I see Mars squares with Uranus, I'm always thinking, oh gosh, are we talking about accidents? So be careful of things like that, like accidents. Because I always think of Gemini as um, the third house, and the third house is the house that rules communication and traveling, like short distance traveling, like in your car. The full moon in Sagittarius is more long distance travel. Some people might find that they are traveling over the next 2 weeks. It is like the best 2 weeks in June, right? A lot of people are going to be traveling after the 11th, maybe after school is out and stuff like that. So I want you to be careful about that. There could be some disruptions in your plan. So stay adaptable. Be ready to, change on a dime if you have to. Now, I made AI versions of the zodiac sign insights because, they always give me insights to share. And I'm going to just give you what it says, but I'm going to tell you what I have to say. So, Aries, this is anyone born between March 21st and April 19th. You're in Aries. And this full moon is going to be illuminating your ninth house. Aries, the ninth house, is the house of travel. It's the house of higher learning. It's a prime time to embark on a new educational journey, plan some kind of trip. Now, as I talked about with Sagittarius in general, the fact that it's happening in your ninth house is just like it's going to hit you hardest. When I talked about the dogma, trying to be right, education, universities, God principle, maybe religion, dealing with things like government and legalities and law and politics and uh, any kind of foreign affairs or traveling or any of that. Okay, you might just be traveling. Like I said, this 2 weeks after this full moon is usually when a lot of people go on vacation for like after school, because school break happens and people go on vacation. So a lot of people might be doing that right now. And Aries, you might be one of those people. So Taurus, you're a Taurus if you were born between April 20th and May 20th. And this shift is going to go to your eighth house. That is a house of transformation and shared resources. Now, shared resources, I always say it's your partner. Like this could be the person that you're with, whoever your mate is. Some Tauruses might be dealing with whether their partner or mate is bringing in enough money, or maybe they do get more money. All of a sudden, they might get an extra boost of money or something like that. You can consider evaluating your resources, whatever you hold jointly. But this could also be different things like personal opportunities like insurance or 401k or annuities or maybe you've got people who want to pay you money. You get more money coming in. It could be taxes, it's end of tax season. All of that stuff. Lots of reasons why you could be looking at the eighth house. Now, the eighth house also is secrets, death, sex, and psychological issues that are deep and dark. And, we usually hide them. You might, because, it's Sagittarius moon, and you might want to come out with your truth. You might expose your truth during the next couple of weeks. Maybe that's going to be some type of like therapeutic thing for you is to express that. Maybe you could reach out to a therapist or psychologist as well. Okay. So next we have the sign of Gemini. And you're a Gemini if you were born between May 21st and June 20th. This is affecting your seventh house. And the seventh house is the house of partnerships. It's a house of relationships. It's other people. So I don't know how you feel about it, Gemini, but you're going to be othering, okay? The seventh house tells me there's going to be lots of othering. Now, one of the other things, I was talking about Taco earlier, who is a Gemini. I'm saying the seventh house is activated. The seventh house is enemies. So if anyone, some Geminis might be dealing with enemies, a lot of enemies. People, your relationships are going to definitely be at the focus, but I feel like it's going to be the potential for enemies, depending on what you've done leading up to this full moon. I mean, what have you done leading up to this full moon, Gemini? Have you done things that would cause you to have a lot of enemies right now when the moon is opposing you for 2 weeks? If so, then you can expect to feel that over the next 2 weeks because it is opposing you. Now, if this is about relationships and you've been building and working on building this great relationship, then that also could happen too over the next 2 weeks. Either way, you might find that your enemies are willing to speak out and tell their truth over the next 2 weeks and expose you or attack you. So be careful, Gemini. Be careful. Next, let's move on to the sign of Cancer. You're a Cancer if you were born between June 21st and July 22nd. And this Cancer is going to be affecting the sixth house of health and daily routines. And, you know, if your sixth house is the full moon in it, it means you're going to be spending a lot of time thinking about your health and thinking about your work processes and your routines and maybe the people that work for you, like your employees. Do you need employees? Do you, are the people you working with the right people? Are the routines and the strategies you have in place, are they working? Are your health plans and what you're doing to take care of your health, is that working out? Are you working out on schedule? All of those things. Also, I want you to know, because you are a Cancer, that food might be something that does affect you because it's your health and it's full. So be careful about the food you eat, okay, Cancer? Next is the sign of Leo, and you're a Leo if you were born between July 23rd and August 22nd. This is going to affect your fifth house, and Leo, the fifth house, oh my gosh. That's your house. That means you're going to be shining, shining, shining. This is the house of Leo. And, it's just that Sagittarius falls in your fifth house. So a lot of creativity, a lot of romance. I mean, this is a great time for you to ignite your passions, to pursue whatever it is that ignites your passions. If you want to, date someone, if you had your eye on someone, this would be a good time to like pursue that person when the moon is full for the next 2 weeks in your fifth house of passion and romance and dating and creativity and children and taking chances. Take a chance. I would say, Leo, I would play the lottery. I definitely the lotto scratchies. I would get into every game of chance I could. If that's playing the horses, do that too. I mean, all of it. Okay, Leo, don't leave any stone unturned. You probably will run into luck, Leo, while this 2 weeks, if you plan it out right, while this 2 weeks is in Leo or in Sagittarius, in the house of Leo. Okay? Okay, good luck to you, Leo. So the next is the sign of Virgo. And you're a Virgo if you were born between August 23rd and September 22nd. This is going to affect your family, your home. I feel like some Virgos are already around their home doing little things, but this is definitely going to put a lot of emphasis on your home life, your family, maybe even your mother. You might, be more connected with your mother at this time for some reason. Familiar ties, maybe doing stuff with your loved ones and start strengthening the bonds between you and your loved ones and your family. But usually the fourth house is home and family and the mother. And but I think you're going to be doing home improvements. I see all kind of home improvements happening around the home for the sign of Virgo. And for some reason, lots of mothering happening. But I just see lots of things like planting, cleaning, spring cleaning, maybe buying new things for your home, beautifying your home. All of that is going to take place, I think, over the next couple of weeks for Virgo. So Libra, you're a Libra if you're born September 23rd to October 22nd. And Libra, this is all happening in your third house of communication. And the funny thing is, the third house does rule communication. That's, talking and speaking and writing and being on the phone and being on the internet, like actually being on the computer. But it's like your communication, your local community, your neighbors, your social atmosphere, dealing with people in your community. It's a great time to connect with your neighbors. It's a great time to start writing a new project. It's a great time to start writing a book if you are, some kind of uh, uh, book that you might have been thinking about, but you've been putting off. So this might be a good time to do that. I would also uh, take time to double check things like my brakes and things like that with my car. I would just make sure everything was up to date on my car. Okay. And traveling locally in the car, stuff like that. Also check on your brothers and sisters, cousins, nieces, nephews, uncles, aunts, stuff like that. Okay, just make sure you're in a loop with them. Next is the sign of Scorpio. And you're a Scorpio if you're born between October 23rd and November 21st. And this is going to be an emphasis in the second home, the second house, and the second house is the house of money. So it is about your possessions, your money, what you own, what you have, about your finances and your own self-worth, how you feel about yourself and your own self-worth. The funny thing is when I see Scorpio in the second house, I can't help but notice that that's the natural house of Taurus. So it's like you're in the opposite house that you belong in. Like your natural house is the eighth house. So it's going to feel a little weird, I think, for some Scorpios. You might need to take time to really look over your budget and consider some new ways to get more money to boost your income. Maybe you're having some trouble with your income. Maybe you're just looking for a way to get more money into your budget. Either way, I just sense that there might just be a little bit of struggle here because it's the opposite house of Scorpio. So some Scorpios I just sense might be struggling a little bit when it comes to money. Sagittarius, well, this is the full moon in your sign. And so it's going to be in the first house. So it's going to affect you personally. But this can also affect your personal goals, your self-image, the way you feel about yourself, the way you see yourself, your ability to take, center stage, to be the one, number one, that whole type of thing. But I think it's also time for you to look at your aspirations, what it is you want to do, what you want to achieve, how you're going to achieve that, and also how you're going to improve yourself, your physical self, your body, your self-image, how you feel about yourself. I mean, if there's any other time for self-love, this is no better time for it than to self-love yourself, Self-love yourself. Okay, Sagittarius, love yourself and um, really take a moment to think about how you can improve yourself and improve the way you look, how you feel about yourself, your health, and your body, your actual physical body. I want you to protect your head, and so cover up like your head and your ears. Don't go out with wet hair. Some people just like that. But just protect your head in general. Okay, that's my advice for you, Sagittarius. Oh, and be careful of like telling people off because you want to tell your truth. I want you to be really consciously aware of the fact that you might need to, not everyone doesn't think like you do or believe as you do, and that's okay. Okay, so I just want you to take a breath, a couple of deep time, a couple of deep breaths, and really put the focus on you, not on other people, but on you. Okay, okay. Capricorn, you're Capricorn if you're born between December 22nd and January 19th. And this is affecting your 12th house. Your 12th house is being affected. This is spirituality and just going deep within and thinking, introspection, and just thinking about how this is all affecting you. I mean, it is a spiritual time. It's some of the self-undoing that you might have done, the things that might have led to whatever is happening right now over the next 2 weeks. what did you do to lead to this? What led to this moment? But the best things you can do during periods like this is meditate and journal to get a deeper self-awareness about what's going on. I just feel like meditating and staying in a good place spiritually is probably your best bet. So do, all types of things, hypnosis, EFT tapping, listening to like spiritual uh, beats like binaural beats and solfeggio tones and journaling and all types of things you can do to stay in touch with yourself on a deep internal level, because this is all about your subconscious mind. Some Capricorns might find that they are uh, dreaming more, you're sleeping more, you might be healing and getting over something. So if you feel that you need more sleep, take time to get more sleep. Okay, Capricorn? Okay. So next we're going to talk to Aquarius, and you're an Aquarius if you were born between January 20th and February 18th. This is going to be affecting your 11th house. And I love that this is affecting your 11th house, Aquarius, since the 11th house is the natural house of Aquarius. And so I feel like some Aquariuses are really going to have a lot of friendships and social networks and all of that. Like, I just feel like some Aquariuses are really going to bloom on social media over the next couple of weeks. And Sagittarius is sextile Aquarius. So it's also just flowing. Everything is just flowing when it comes to like groups and clubs and organizations and associations you belong to, and maybe dealing with different people online, maybe doing communication online, reconnecting with your friends, joining with chat groups, and maybe even different groups physically in your city, people that have the same interests as you do. You might find that suddenly you're in connection with more people like that, or that you are making more friends online, or that suddenly, something you post online goes viral. I just see like all of this kind of stuff happening for the sign of Aquarius. So Aquarius, be open to that. Also, I'm thinking some of your hopes and your dreams and your wishes might actually come to fruition. What have you been hoping and dreaming and wishing for? It might come true now. So next, or less, oh wow, the last one, the sign of Pisces. And you're a Pisces if you were born between February 19th and March 20th. So this is going to put the focus into your 10th house. The focus is going to be on your career, on your ambitions, on your public image, on the way people see you. If you have a boss, it might be on your boss. If you are a boss, it'll be on you as the boss, how other people see you as the boss, as the leader. Um, Also, it's just about you getting some public recognition, or maybe seeking recognition for your efforts. You want people to notice you. You want people to reward you for your professional goals. So maybe you might even think this might be a time to seek like a raise or something like that. I don't recommend it, Pisces, that you ask for or push for a raise, only because Sagittarius is square Pisces, um, and it's friction, and so it's stress. And so I feel like if you push too much in the area of your career, it's going to create stress. And so I don't think this is the time for you to push. However, what you can do personally to fix your career and your public image and and to get recognition, that's fine. But I wouldn't push other people to get it. Like, I wouldn't push for a raise or anything like that. Or yeah, I wouldn't even try to do anything that was underhanded or anything at my job. I would really try to stay away from all kinds of stress. Okay, stay positive. Have a positive career and public image right now. Okay, Pisces. And I also think that for some Pisces, because it's the 10th house, It might just show where you're spiritual, like where you are letting your spirituality shine in that area. Because Sagittarius is very dogmatic, and so that area is going to be very dogmatic. And I think some Pisces might just be out there sharing their spiritual beliefs more, or maybe in the workplace even. So that could be interesting. Anyway, this has been the 12 signs. This has been what I had to tell everyone for the strawberry full moon coming up in Sagittarius on June 11th of 2025 at 23 degrees of Sagittarius. And, find out where 23 degrees of Sagittarius is, and then, correspond with the houses that I just gave you. And if you want me to go over the houses again, I'll just say it really quickly so you get it. Aries, it's the ninth house. Taurus, it's the 8th house. Gemini, it's the 7th house. Cancer, it's the 6th house. Leo, it's the 5th house. Virgo, it's the 4th house. Libra, it's the 3rd house. Scorpio, it's the 2nd house. Sagittarius, it's the 1st house. Capricorn, it's the 12th house. Aquarius, it's the 11th house. And Pisces, it's your 10th house. So if it's in a different house than those, find what house it corresponds to and listen to that. Okay, so I hope that this has given you some insight on how to handle the next 2 weeks in June during this strawberry full moon emphasis. This has been Adrienne, also known as Capricorntigress of astrologyalookinside.com. And if you have not done so, please take a moment to go by astrologyalookinside.com. Go by our shop and see all the various things that we have in our shop. Also, you can schedule your own appointment with me simply by going to our Calendly, and you can go to that, find that at calendly.com/astrologyalookinside. Also, if you haven't already found us on social media, you can find us just about anywhere on social media under Astrology A Look Inside. But you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube under Astrology Look Inside, okay? Much love, much light, many blessings from Adrienne, Capricorntigress of astrologyalookinside.com.